Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Natalie Marie here and I am coming to you with a dialect accent video. Now I know personally that it can be very difficult to learn a dialect or an accent, especially when you haven't done so before. So I thought I'd give you 3 tips on how to really learn any accent your heart desires. One of the 3 things is going to take you quite a while to learn, especially get familiar with, but preparation's key, guys. The first thing, learn IPA. What is IPA? It is the International Phonetic Alphabet. And why is this important? Because if you learn the phonetic alphabet, then basically you can learn any dialect whatsoever. So I basically write down the script and I do it on a lined piece of paper. So one line has the line of the script and then the line above it doesn't have anything, so that I can write the phonetic language. Every dialect has its own phonetics, its own sounds, obviously, because that's what makes the dialect different. So me talking an Australian accent compared to an American accent sounds totally different. So the sounds are different. So if you can actually individualize these sounds, you can then attach these sounds to these words and then you can read that sound. I hope that makes sense. How do you find these sounds? I basically Google Russian or French or English or anything like dialect, accent, and IPA. And it shows me the symbols of like the vowels, especially. The vowels are super important when you're developing an accent. And if I know that this vowel sounds like this sound, then I can put that literally with every other word. And then it kind of is sorting out like a puzzle piece. Even in America, there's, the Boston accent, the New York accent is so different than the Southern dialect, the deep South accent. Even every different state has a different accent. Alabama and Georgia have 2 different dialects. And the way to really know the difference and make it authentic is to know the exact sound that it is. So if you can write the sounds out, then you can read the sounds and then you'll sound more authentic. I learned it in AMDA, so I learned that through voice production and speech. We had to learn IPA because we needed to learn Standard American, and Standard American is its own dialect altogether. It is basically the standardized version of an American accent, so that if anyone's like, do an American accent and you're not from any province or any state or anything like that, you go to that standardized accent. Nearly every country has the same thing. Like I literally learned a Russian standardized accent for an audition that I filmed 2 minutes ago. I do broad IPA because it is probably the easiest one. It's not as complex. You literally, especially for an audition or something, if you learn the way the sounds are, like the vowels and what consonants they use or don't use, or the tempo of the accent, then you can very much just pick it up like that. On Google, if you need help to listen to it, I would definitely use YouTube. There's a lot of people on YouTube who teach accents or teach the basics. Even if it's just a couple of vowels, then you can get sort of the rhythm into it. But a great reference point is called the Dialects Archive. And this is a website basically that has any accent in the entire world. You can go by region, then country, and find the country. And then in that country, sometimes there's sub-provinces or things like that. So for instance, in Italy, your dialect from Naples is going to be totally different from Milan, and vice versa. Or in Russia, you have some Russian accents in Moscow, and that's going to be totally different in another city. Also, Serbia and Russian do not sound the same. They might sound the same to people who have an untrained ear, but there are different little dialects in between, like little nuances that you need to really nail down, especially for an audition. But it also then breaks it down into age, gender, and what province were they from, have they moved. So I had someone who was a 24-year-old female she lived in Moscow, but she's moved to the US. And you can tell the difference in the accent from someone who stayed in Moscow to the one who has been moved to the US. So sometimes you might be playing a character that is American but has a foreign background and moved probably like a couple of years or 3 years. It all depends. The accent will change depending on how long you've lived in a different country for. If you picked up that other dialect and what kind of mushed up dialect you can create. The third thing I would do is watch movies where actors who are really good have done it before. Some actors can butcher accents, and especially the Australian one, I would definitely mostly look at the dialects archive for that, or things on YouTube, because a lot of accents in Australia are different. So the Queensland accent, which is the state quite north, is a lot different and more nasal-like than the Melburnian accent, which is where I'm from Melbourne. So you have to be careful not to just butcher things and think that they're all the same. But films are a great idea to look. I remember I was going for a role that was French. I've done a French accent here and there, but it's not like I tried to master anything. But then this audition called for a French accent. I was like, okay, I've only got 4 days to do this. And when I was watching a movie, I was watching The Boys. And there is a character in The Boys who is French. And I basically just listened to him and just hung onto every word. I would stop it, I would then mouth it so that it would get into my mouth, because a lot of accents and making sounds has everything to do with the physicality of your mouth, your tongue, where your tongue is placed and everything. So I remember I was learning Colombian accent for my dialects lesson. I took a dialects lesson in a little bit of an elective in AMDA, and I chose Colombian, and it's like a lot of aw, like there's a lot of long movements. Your mouth is the shape of the aw. And my dialects teacher said it's really good to study the culture as well, where the dialect came from, how it changed, what it is today. And that you can find also in a movie so I studied The Boys for that French accent, and then I also looked on Google to see what are the actual consonants and the actual sounds, and I pieced them together with my IPA knowledge, and I ended up getting that role. And it was good, it was a good role. By the end of it, had the French accent down pat. It was great. So it's always good because it's fun, because you can learn something new, and you can learn it well, and then you can put that on your CV that you actually know how to do it. But obviously keep training, keep practicing it, because they can get a bit distorted after some time. But 3 things, just to recap. This is a very short video, but I just wanted to give them to you because I literally was learning an accent this morning. I thought this would be very useful for people who are learning accents and don't know where to start. First, learn IPA. This is going to take you the longest, but start learning it now. I think it's a great asset for any actor to know IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. This will help you form words in their sounds, in their phonetic language. I hope that works. Second, go on the dialects archive and listen to real people in that province, in that state, in that little village, and listen to how they talk. Third, movies, YouTube. Watch people do it. Look at their mouth. Really, 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 really listen to it. Really, really form the words in your mouth. And honestly, the 4th bonus one, just do it. Just jump into it. You might think you sound like a total, idiot, but just do it. I was baking and creating breakfast and I was doing it, and I didn't do it with the scripted words. I did it in just as I would, just improvising. Because if you can form words and if you can form the accent without the script, then you can form the accent with the script. It sounds a lot more natural that you're not putting this accent on those words rather than you're just adopting those words to the accent. Anyway, that's all for me today. Next week I will be coming at you with a video of the don'ts that you do in an audition room. I'm really excited for that video because it's a bit of a skit, so it's more not me sitting down. It's going to have a lot more other stuff going on. But yeah, hopefully stay tuned for that. If you're really excited about learning what to not do in an audition room from start to finish, then make sure you subscribe, like this video so that I know exactly what you guys want out of this content. If you do have something in particular that you want me to film, then please tell me in the comments below because I will be more than happy to hear about them. And I answer every comment because I'm nice like that. Okay, well, I'll see you later, catch you later, see you in the next one. Bye!